Hello, I'm Pam. I hope all is well. I'm here to help you get better sleep for the best life. And today I want to talk about unplugging to recharge. Unplug to recharge. What does that really mean? Are we just talking about our computers, our phones, our tablets? What do I mean by that? What I mean is we need to unplug ourselves from standard systems, traditional models of thinking, ways of doing things to promote rest and relaxation. For instance, if we're used to working 16-hour days and that's kind of expected of us, and quite frankly, we're used to working in that way, and then a new paradigm comes into our lives that says, hey, slow down for a moment. Maybe you don't need to work this many hours. Maybe you release some of that stress, some of that anxiety by letting go of some of those hours you're working and take the time to unplug from the system, unplug from what society tells you you should be doing. And that's another thing to really examine when we're talking about unplugging to recharge. Is the society, is the old paradigm or old way of thinking actually dictating how you move through life and what you're doing? If it's you, that's something that will come from self-reflection and self-inquiry, is discovering that that may actually be you and not the system. You may be telling yourself, I need to work 16 hours because I am that important, that critical to my job or my place of employment or my business or any other work that I do. It could be you. No one else could be requiring that you're working 16 hours, getting overtime and all of this. Is that really a requirement for somebody that is in the system? Is that a requirement for somebody outside of the system? Is that a requirement that you put on yourself via the system? Only you can answer that. I know for me in my life, in my trajectory of my professional career, most of that was me. Some of it was the job. I was on some jobs in my corporate life that expected you to work more than 8 hours, that overtime was just an unwritten rule, right, of society. You should put in all these hours, and you would get, overtime, or you get some extra days off. But it was like it showed your dedication. What it showed me, and really, I haven't changed my perspective on this at all, is that if you have to have people to show your dedication by doing work that could be done in the time allotted in a day, then that's BS. That doesn't make any company any more productive if that's the reason why you're expecting your employees to work these crazy hours. If you're a business owner, and I'm an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, what are you doing? Are you putting in 16 hours because you it's definitely you at that point. You feel like you have clients that you have to serve and you're running around and you really want to, you have so many loose ends to tie, and I get it. You have to worry about marketing, you have to worry about all these different things. So you end up working maybe 20 hours a day because you actually love your business. You love what you do. That's where the boundaries come in. In full disclosure, I have issues with those those boundaries because I enjoy a lot of what I do. I'm a yoga therapist. I coach folks, so I love what I do. So, but I have to have a cutoff, a line of demarcation, so that I can rest and restore. So for me, the unplugging looks like consciously turning my laptop off at a certain time, closing the laptop, and then leaving the laptop in another room so that I can get on with relaxing. Maybe I want to look at Netflix. Maybe I want to read a book, calming down, getting to a point where my nervous system can slowly downregulate. That is a practice that that I've had to really focus on, to be present in doing, because there's so much work as a business owner to continue to do. You can work up until 11 o'clock. I have done that. I've done that for other people too. And I have made the conscious decision um, in these last few months that I'm not doing that for anyone again ever. It's taken me a while, but I'm not. I don't have to tell you that I'm doing it. It's easier to do that because a lot of my work is virtual. When I do yoga teacher trainings, I have to be, and I do those online too, but when I am face to face, that's a whole different thing. If it's a 20-hour yoga teacher training, it's 20 hours. My prep time, I can do on my end, and any follow up on the back end of the training, I can do, and I can still manage that. So that's different because, again, that's my training. It's how I'm moving and how I'm shaping what that looks like for the prospective students and clients. That's so I've discovered that you don't have to do that. I've also discovered you can get a lot of work done in an hour. You don't have to stretch out. You can get a lot of work done in an hour if you're present and if you're really involved in the work. And then you can take breaks. So what I do in my day is I pack a lot in an hour or 45 minutes. And then if I have to get up, walk, take a break, 5 minutes, come back and get at it. That way I don't have to work these hard 10, 12, 16 hours every day to try to move my business along. I do these kind of mini unplugs from the day, mini unplugging from my tasks, taking these breaks, allowing myself to recharge my battery. The body is like a battery. I'm unplugging from work, from circumstance. And sometimes, yeah, it's from the cell phones, from the laptop, tablets, TV, all of these electronic things that we have that are getting in the way of our sleep, blue light and all of that, right? So I hope this helps. I hope you try to figure out what ways you can unplug, whether they're big or bigger or smaller. What ways can you incorporate an unplugging in your life so that you can recharge, other than sleeping at night? Sleeping at night is important. Getting 7 to 9 hours is important. That's the unplugging and the recharge time. But during the day, we can start our sleep regimen by looking at how we're unplugging as soon as we wake up, how we unplug to recharge. What are we doing to recharge our battery? What foods are we ingesting? What energy do we have going on? If you start your day off with the news and it's all negative, and you're running around trying to get dressed, trying to get ready for work, and going into a job that you have to work all these crazy hours, that is, are you present in it? That's what I would ask. Are you in the moment, fully present, fully conscious and aware of the fact that you're watching that kind of news first thing in the morning? That's what I would ask. I would reflect on that, and I would do some self-discovery in addressing that. How am I even starting my day off with chaos before I even get out the door, before I even get to my work, before I even interact with my children? Is my day already chaotic? That sets the tone. And if it sets the tone for the day, it sets the tone for the evening that you are probably going to get, the sleep that you're going to get. So how can we unplug to recharge, shifting this tone, shifting our energy towards something calmer, something more compassionate towards ourselves, something softer? We don't have to go hard all the time. We don't have to hustle all the time. We can relax into the work that we love doing, even the work that we don't love doing, as we plan our escape from that work. What can we do to soften the edges around these ridiculous expectations and assumptions we have about how much work we should be doing, how busy we should be? There's a saying, I don't know who said it, that I used to say all the time: stop the glorification of busy. I think we're slowly moving in that direction. And I first heard that saying, it was several years ago. We glorify it. How are you? Oh, I'm so busy. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I have to run. I have to take my kids to soccer, to football, to baseball, to lacrosse. Everybody's busy. But what are you getting done? I mean, there's all this busyness happening. What's happening? What actual tangible work is getting done? Have you ever been in meetings all day and looked up and said, I haven't got shit done? I've been in meetings all day. Talking about what? Often these meetings are talking about nothing. Sometimes you're brainstorming, you need meetings. We all need meetings. And I do most all of my meetings at this point are virtual. So we need those meetings. But after a while, if something tangible, if you're not doing any work, if nothing blossoms out of these meetings, it's an effort in futility. You're just running around, draining a battery for what? If I'm going to have my battery go down, it's got to be with some stuff that's substantive that I want to really dive into, that I want to really work towards, that I want to serve in a way that helps people, supports folks. That's where I am. If I'm going to allow the draining of the battery, if there's crazy negative energy around with people, I'm avoiding them. I've been doing this for a few years. You show your true colors, I'm done. We don't have to talk ever. And it doesn't matter if we used to be friends, if we used to, it's fine. Listen, you outgrow people, you outgrow folks sometimes. Sometimes those folks show you their true colors. Sometimes you show your true colors to the folks. Sometimes it's not even about showing the true colors, it's just a movement, a shift in consciousness where you realize that the relationship, the friendship, the partnership is no longer working. It's not going to work. It's not going to serve you. And those are hard. That's hard for people. They hang on to things because they feel comfortable. People are comfortable in their chaos. They hang on to that because it's something it's something that is familiar. It feels familiar, and familiar feels good. But sometimes we got to let that go. Sometimes you got to rock that boat or get thrown overboard to feel something much better and different. Initially, that rocking of the boat is scary, challenging. Oh, what's next? Oh, I'm going to fall in the water. You fall in the water and you're like, oh, why didn't I do this before? Thank you, universe, for doing this for me. I've had several of those moments these past few months. I don't regret any of them because the illumination that comes from these types of experiences, these unpluggings, if you will, just get unplugged from the matrix or from whatever. And then to be thrust in the water, to be thrust and really real come up to the surface after you've been thrust in the water to realize who's still standing, who's still around, who is really there for me, and who am I going to be there for? That's illumination. You can only get that kind of illumination if you unplug to recharge. If you are fully unplugged from this mess you don't need to be involved in, from the energy you don't need to have in your life, even though you can deflect it, especially people, light workers. If you're good at you take on your own energy, you know how to manifest your own positive energy, you can deflect the negative energy, but you can also not be around it. If you can, just avoid it. If you have some people that are in your life that you need to move, and sometimes that's family members, right? It's hard. You don't want to, that's my sister, that's my brother, that's my mother, that's my father. If you are not getting reciprocated respect, these are some things you need to, if the respect is not being reciprocated, all that's happening is you're the allowing of these energy vampires to come into your life and drain the battery. And you're constantly trying to recharge, trying to find some way to recharge this. You're still plugged in and still trying to, that's the old way. You had to be plugged in to recharge. Some of this mess you got to unplug from to recharge. I hope this message lands for whoever it needs to land for. I just felt called to talk about that today because I think it's important as I do this work around sleep issues, sleep deprivation, and sleep recovery. It just becomes clear to me when we talk about the physical aspects of why people aren't falling asleep. I drink coffee at 5 o'clock. I'm working really hard. I have 5 kids and 20 people in the house. Many reasons why physically people are struggling. When you start unpacking uh, the mental and the emotional stuff, when you start looking at sleep from a body, mind, spirit perspective, and you start looking around at people that don't have their best interest or don't have your best interests at heart, and they claim to love you and they claim to like you, there's some digging and self reflection that has to be done in order to proceed in bettering yourself. Just overall, even in sleep, uh, looking at your sleep and how that manifests in your life. But overall, we have to start peeling back the layers, lifting the veil, and really looking once the veil has been lifted, because you can't unsee what you see. Once that veil is lifted and you see it, you can't unsee it. You have to be forced to reconcile with it, do something about it, sit with it. So thanks for listening. I hope this video wasn't too long. I hope this helped someone. Take care. If you need to reach me, I'll put my details in the description box below. Have a wonderful and blessed day.